Actor Zoe Robbins, who plays our fierce Two Rivers Wisdom, Nynaeve Almira, will be joining us. Plus, we'll be breaking down some exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and chatting Episode 4 with our fellow Wheel of Time fans. And don't forget, stick around for some exclusive shots of next week's episode. Welcome to Amazon's official after show, Inside the Wheel of Time. I'm your host and innkeeper, Matt Hatch. Bonds are forged and broken. Let's get inside episode 4. Moraine is healed. Logain kills Karine. Nynaeve channels and heals everyone. Matt, Rand, and Tom meet the Grinwells, and that doesn't end well. Darkness grows, Tom fights a Fade, and is Matt a killer? Was Logain a false dragon? And will Perrin follow the way of the leaf? That's why I'm so glad I have Zoe Robbins, who plays our Two Rivers Wisdom, Nynaeve Almira, to discuss how it all went down. Zoe, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. I really appreciate you being here. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. This is so much fun to honestly get a chance to sit down and honestly not be live, because live's different.
Live can be a lot.
How exciting was it for you to be cast as Nynaeve Almira in The Wheel of Time?
Incredibly exciting. I think, obviously this job opportunity has changed my life. I remember actually getting the email with the audition, and I just had I don't know, I can't really explain the feeling that I had, but it felt right, whether it was spiritual or something. It's very rare that it happens, but I was just like, there was almost like this quiet confidence of, okay, yeah, the story and the character just resonated with me in a way that I haven't experienced before. I'm just, grateful to be on this journey.
How did your family react when they heard?
There's a lot of screams. I remember actually I have a LA manager and a New Zealand agent, and they both called me at the same time. We were on a group call and they let me know. I was actually running out the door, and so we could only talk for a little bit, like maybe it was like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, thank you, oh my god, thanks so much, bye. And then my New Zealand agent Colin called me afterwards, and he was just like screaming. He was like, F word, F word, F word. And I was screaming back to him as well. So a lot of cussing, a lot of swearing, a lot of celebratory yells. There's
so many amazing sets and locations, and you've spoken just about the impressive artistry of this all. What are some of your favorite, locations or sets from season 1?
The Two Rivers. Even for us now, it's very nostalgic. That was the first set that we were introduced to when we first got here, and it was just breathtaking is the word I would say. They literally built a village from the ground up, and it was just exactly how I imagined when I was reading through the script. So it was quite surreal walking around almost in your imagination, but it was happening in reality. And I think just specifically because of the journey that the characters go on to, that's a set in a location that I'll always love. Yeah.
How did it affect you when it was burned down then?
Yeah, it was kind of shocking to learn that they were actually doing that. I think the amazing set designer and the builders all spent months and months to bring it to life, and then we burnt it down probably 1,000 times quicker than it took them to build. So I don't know, it's quite insane actually. But it's also nice validation of we're really doing it. We're really going all out.
Now, I know you mentioned that there was an essence of all of your characters and the characters that were cast, like something you've noticed. What is the essence of you that you discovered in Nynaeve?
I think we share the same want and desire to do right by people. I'm quite sensitive and sensitive to energies, and I think Nynaeve is similar too. So I think the way she channels her emotions, I didn't realize that I was a big fan of anger, but I love it.
There's a beautiful introduction into the first episode where you're speaking with Egwene about the symbolism of the braid. And so I have to ask you, what does Nynaeve's braid mean to her?
I think it's a symbolism for unity and connection and belonging. I love the idea of that it symbolizes, a group of people who, no matter where your life takes you, they will always have your back, and you can always expect them to be rooting for you, and you do the same for them. I think that's really special. It's a lovely little community that the women's circle is. I think that's what keeps Nynaeve grounded in a lot of very emotional circumstances and situations, is she holds on to her braid for comfort or to express her anger, as we see in various flips and tugs. It's a part of her being and who she is.
Now, speaking of the braid, there's a moment in the first episode where we watch a Trolloc drag Nynaeve away by her braid. It's a crazy scene. I have to know, because you eventually kill this Trolloc. What were those scenes like for you to shoot?
They were very fun and incredibly intense. A lot of those we shot on location at 4 a.m. in a Czech forest in the middle of winter. I can't say I love night shoots, but what I really appreciate about them is the crew becomes, I don't know, like this united front in a way. There's this common understanding of, we're all in this together. We're tired and hungry and we can't feel our fingers and our toes, but we're doing this. We're doing this.
Robert Jordan, I think, was really born to write. He taught himself to read at the age of 4, and he was reading a couple of books a day and thought, I'd like to write like that one day. And finally the moment came when he threw one across the room, thinking, I can do better than that.
Thank you for coming back and being with us, Critter, Rhythma, and Daniel Green. How y'all doing?
Awesome.
I appreciate that you're bringing the double hand wave. I really appreciate that, because at the end of this episode, I was getting all the chills. I was not expecting it. Nynaeve. Reactions. This is mid-season finale. What were you thinking?
I feel like it's really hard not to love her. And after this episode, now we know that she's really going places. And it's just really exciting in this mid-season finale to see where those places are.
I feel like whoever did the special effects for Lan's spurting throat, they went a little too hard, because I was like, is Lan dead? There's no way he's coming back. And then, of course, I shouldn't have discounted my girl Nynaeve, because she came through. But yeah, that was a fantastic scene, and it was so unexpected.
This episode seemed to really be building forth, like, okay, there are all these candidates for Dragon, and I keep trying to, like, put myself in the headspace of people who haven't read the books, of, like, what are they thinking now? Because the show is, like, setting up some real scaly candidates.
I almost feel like anyone can be the dragon. I'm like 5, 10, it does feel a little bit fun as a viewer of like, what is going on? What does this all mean? You think it's obvious what this means with Nynaeve? Her being able to channel, do you think it's surprised viewers out there?
If they're paying attention, which I'm hoping none of y'all are on your phone, they definitely saw Nynaeve channeling coming, doing the listening of the winds talked about all the way back in episode 1. It's kind of just like that level of power feels like it's finally, like, it matches in the book, right? Because Nynaeve in the books as well is someone who's just a force, and that was certainly on display here.
I want to kind of turn the conversation a bit to Logain. We're introduced to Logain in this episode from a performance standpoint. What performances hit you in episode 4?
Logain's. The moment that he got gentled was so powerful. Just the look on his face, the tears coming from his eyes. It was so much all at once. You could like feel it happening as if it was you. Also sitting there just completely stoic while they're holding the shield on him. And then once his rescue team arrives, he just blasts through it. I could see Moiraine was either thinking, is it actually him, given his strength, or not, because it's Moiraine and you can never really tell what she's thinking. But just given that strength, I was like, oh wow, is he the 5th? No, I can't really tell.
Before we move on, I think it's important to call this out for any of our new viewers out there. If you're wondering what this word gentling means, you've kind of heard us bring it up a couple times. Maybe you heard Tom bring it up. If a man can channel, when he's cut off permanently from access to the source or that ability to channel, it's called gentling. And for a woman, it's actually called stilling. We're obviously introduced to Logain right at the end of episode 3, and then we see this cold open that happens where we get to at least understand maybe a little bit more about what he's thinking. How did that cold open hit you in episode 4?
It was probably my favorite cold open yet. I love how they characterized madness. They literally showed the madness. People like whispering into Logain's ears. I definitely thought he was about to kill the king, and then when he doesn't, it adds so much to his character, and you realize that all these people are talking about Logain and like calling him this false dragon, but maybe he is the false dragon, but he's also seems to be like kind of a heroic character. So that opening made the ending all the more tragic. When you see him gentled, it made it so much more sad because you realize he's kind of like a really good leader and maybe even a very good man. Nynaeve definitely stole the show at the end, but if it weren't for that, this would have absolutely been Logain's episode.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack there. The visualization of the voices speaking to Logain, I loved. I don't know if you'd call that like the taint or the corruption, however you want to call it, creating a face next to him and speaking to him. What were your thoughts there?
I just want to say thank you for changing the name to The Corruption. That's a really good move and a massive improvement from the books. I've always wondered how they're going to bring the corruption into the show and how you visualize something that in the books is described as so palpably vile. And it actually feels that way. Watching it like crawl over and seep through the weaves, it did feel like that violation. So yeah, that pretty much was like, okay, yeah, I wondered how you're going to do that, and good job.
We do see him somewhat kind of act, I don't know if it's heroically, he's attacking this kingdom, but he does heal the king. Does that set up the Aes Sedai as somewhat villains here at the end when they gentle him?
I think Leandrin was being steered in that direction. Basically everything she did this whole episode made everyone suspicious. Nynaeve included. I mean, she just went ahead and said, like, that woman's a snake, and I think we all saw that. Leandrin is making some moves that make her out to be a villain for sure. We got to know some of the other Aes Sedai, like Alana. I thought she was cool and relatable, you know, and she's got multiple warders, and she stops arrows in the air. I wouldn't say all the Aes Sedai are being painted as villains, but the Red Ajah, it doesn't look good right now. They don't look very nice. Let's put it that way.
Going off what you said there, I really love how we're seeing the Tower's conflicted internal mechanisms really brought to the forefront. That's something that is so key to this story, how there's just corruption and selfishness, and we watch them gentle this man, cut him off from the source forever. Like, as a viewer, it's kind of left with this feeling of like, where do you feel safe now? And as I've kind of hit on, like, that's how it should feel being cast out into this world. Like, there's so many different players maneuvering in so many different ways. And yeah, you just kind of feel for all these poor little farmers who just a week ago, their biggest concern was like, oh, am I going to get a night with my love interest in the farm? Now it's, am I going to get stabbed?
Let's talk about this family, the Grinwells. And this is where this whole kind of conflict comes in, all about, is Matt somebody that can be trusted? When Matt is seen standing in that room with the Fade, do you believe that Matt killed that family?
They definitely lingered a little bit too long on Matt. And I was like, wait a second. There was a lot of moments in this episode where I was like, wait a second, they're not going to do that. And they didn't with Matt, or did they? I don't know. I feel like they did a great job of like setting it up where, was he already there when the Fade got there? I don't know. I think it's pretty ambiguous at this point, to be honest.
You got to give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on this. You think yes or no? Where are you at?
Matt, that's mean.
Come on, all the viewers are watching now. They're asking themselves the same. Okay, Critter's a no on that one.
I don't think it was him. The true crime fan in me is like, where's the blood? You know, there was a lot of blood, and I feel like Rand would have noticed. You know, somebody would have noticed blood on him. You know, it was everywhere. And also, I love Matt. I can't believe that it was him, and I feel like if we would have gotten a little better look at him, we would know. And that feels intentional, but I love it because it's so dramatic.
Just to make everyone mad, I'm going to say he definitely did it. It's just 100% him. He actually knows he did it. He's just lying. No. Really, the biggest takeaway from that scene for me, though, is just watching Tom be able to put up a fight against a Fade for a little bit, enough for the guys to get out of that shed. It was just like okay, Tom's here to play. Let's go. I love seeing this old man with some knives be able to defend himself for a little chunk.
Yeah, I liked how he was chucking them, and then he was grabbing more. It was like, Tom, you're out of. No, you're not. You have more.
No, you're not. Definitely not. Daniel, we knew that he was dangerous. Remember, because nothing's more dangerous than a man who knows the past. And here he comes wielding knives. So he really worked out.
He knows through his history that Fade's worst nightmare is a guy with a lot of knives.
When it comes to Perrin and Egwene, they're just kind of hanging out with Tinkers. But I did see kind of a question that was asked to Perrin. So I'm going to ask you this. Do you think Perrin is convinced by the Way of the Leaf?
I think because of what happened back at the Two Rivers, he likes the idea of it. He's tempted by the fact that had he been following the Way of the Leaf, that never would have happened. But I think the logical side of him is also thinking, well, had I been following the way of the leaf, the Trollocs would have killed us all anyways, you know? So there's just this cognitive dissonance with him. He wants things to be better, obviously, because he's really going through a lot. Understandably, I don't think he's going to land on the way of the leaf as the solution, even if for the moment it seems somewhat tempting.
I've never liked the way of the leaf people. It's the Tinkers here. I was like, yeah, I feel about them the same way I do in the book. It's like you have a really nice view of the world, but, you know, murder all. So I don't agree. I think there needs to be some violence.
I saw that hurt your heart, Rhythma. How are you feeling at this moment with what Daniel just said about the Tinkers?
I mean, I really like the Tinkers, but maybe I am a little bit idealistic where I'm like, yeah, if we all just like got together, nothing would be bad. But obviously the world is not like that. I think there is courage in sticking to your guns and, you know, sticking to a way of life that might not be easy or understandable to everyone, but still choosing that. And I think there's a lot of bravery in that, but it is definitely very idealistic.
I agree with you. I think that was kind of a beautiful way to say it. You know, there's a certain bravery of conviction here with this is the way they want to live their life. You know? Daniel's still not convinced. He's like, bravery, schmavery.
I love that because I was totally hook, line, and sinker. I was like crying when she was doing her little monologue about her daughter. I cried, but I like how we're on different ends of the spectrum when it comes to this.
Daniel really hates the Tinkers.
I don't hate them. I think they're really solid people. Aram was so charming, and I was just like, oh my god, you're adorable. But I'm just sitting here like, no, you're just not, it's not going to work at all. It's not even going to have a remote chance of lasting.
I wanted to jump back just for a moment, something that hit me at least. The warders, they were just sitting down, chatting, talking about their role in this and how they're not just forced into this, if you will. Like, this is a choice that they've made, and it's a companionship, if you will. What did you take away from that discussion of warders in episode 4?
I think for me, it just turned them into real people. At times, reading the book, you hear about the warders and they're just like these wolf-like, you know, predators who walk in a certain way and are hard to see and are great at fighting, right? So they're like objects. They're sidekicks. They're pushed to the side. These guys, though, you got to know them and they were real people and they were cool and you wanted to hang out with them and you were kind of jealous of Nynaeve and it was just, it was great. I really enjoyed that scene because there wasn't anything really like that in the books and it just reminds you that, yeah, no, all these people are, well, real in the show. They're real in the world of the Wheel of Time and they're all really nice and they have this epic calling that they're totally bound to, but happy to have. So I thought that was great.
As far as final thoughts, Daniel, episode 4, mid-season finale, how's this going for you?
I got the biggest laugh out of me came from when Nynaeve realized that there's warders hooking up with Aes Sedai, and it apparently bothered her a lot. That was just a moment I wanted to talk about this episode, so I took my excuse and ran with it.
Love it. No,
but in terms of a mid-season finale, I imagine, especially for first-time viewers into the Wheel of Time world, this is an ending that's going to leave them with a lot of questions.
What does it mean when an Aes Sedai dies? Karini's death and Steppen's reaction to that. Maybe explain how you were feeling about it.
I mean, earlier on in the episode, we hear Steppen say that the bond between an Aes Sedai and her warder is deeper than a parent and their child or a husband and their wife. I think something this episode does really well is exploring the different types of warder bonds. Lan and Moiraine have one type of warder bond where it's still intimate, but it's not sexual in any nature. But there are warders who have relationships with their Aes Sedai, and there are other warders who have like a different dynamic. Each bond is unique, and the only sort of similarity is the depth of it and how much it means to those individuals. To see Steppen lose his Aes Sedai and just kind of go berserk over her death was pretty impactful.
The biggest thing that I can't stop thinking about is what's going on with Matt. I just want to see what's going to happen next with our boy Matt because he's one of my faves and I worry for him. He's broody Matt now and I want Matt to be better.
I think that's a great way to end this. We want Matt to get better. Until next time. I can't wait to find out. Looking forward to how that turns out. Can't wait to talk about episode 5 with you all here soon. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
Bye.
So my favorite quote when I was working on the Wheel of Time became something that Lan says, duty is heavier than a mountain, death is lighter than a feather. Writing the Wheel of Time, I felt duty being heavier than a mountain. And the idea of letting the project go someday would feel very light, that it would be Rafe's deal now. And I'm excited to see the things that he's talked about coming to fruition as he actually makes the show.
There's so much more behind the scenes content where that came from, so make sure to check it out on X-Ray as you watch The Wheel of Time on Prime Video. To access it, press up on your Fire TV remote or tap your mobile device while watching The Wheel of Time. There's an incredible scene where Nynaeve saves Lan's life and the life of many others in this incredible moment of channeling. What does it mean to be playing someone with such an ability to heal?
I think what it reinforces is that there's nothing weak about being kind and looking out for people you love. I'm hesitant to say saint-like because she's deeply flawed, but just the way that she puts the people she loves before her own needs is something that I find completely honourable and she's taught me a lot about life.
What's it been like to have been away from home and working in Prague? Any funny stories from the set, things that you get to do outside of just being Nynaeve?
Prague is like our second home now, this very quirky, obscure, funny city. I've met some of the most amazing people here. As you guys know, we've filmed throughout the pandemic and experienced lockdowns together, so we were all filming and going straight home and then getting up and filming again, and this, our community became very small. The Wheel of Time family was our bubble for a long time, and that just reinforced the bonds and the friendships that we have. I can only speak for myself, but I love them, the cast in particular. In terms of funny stories, there's honestly never a dull moment with Maddie and Marcus and everyone, to be honest. On the day that we did the Trolloc fight, that was a whole day in the studios actually, so they had built this cave. There was like a heated pool, which initially the first hour was nice, but after 8 hours fighting a man in a Trolloc costume, you're exhausted.
Right.
I was on about 3 Red Bulls, and I'm not an energy drink drinker, so that gives you an idea of how we were going for it. But this poor stunt guy. We were doing this fight sequence, and obviously we had rehearsed it a bunch of times, but without water. And water
Gotcha.
changes your movements, and you're much slower, and so we're having to fiddle with things throughout the day. But at the end of the fight sequence, there's a moment where both Nynaeve and the Trolloc go underwater, and you're kind of questioning who makes it out alive, and Nynaeve comes out triumphantly gasping for air. But how that actually went in real life was this poor guy in the Trolloc suit. I mean, they're amazing, these suits. But I don't think they're necessarily made to be used underwater. So what was happening was we were fighting, and he was gradually filling up with water to the point where he became buoyant. He actually started tipping back and gurgling, semi-drowning, dare I say it. So I had to flip him back over so he wasn't being consumed by this pool of water. So I had to save a Trolloc in real life.
The Trolloc you just killed, you saved.
Murdered, yeah.
You said it's been an absolute gift to play such a complex and flawed and detailed character. What's the wisdom that you're walking away with as having played Nynaeve?
Her personal journey in season 1 is... I think a lot of it is around the need to let go and surrender and give up what you can't control in life, and that's been something that I've had to learn myself. It's almost reinforced as an actor. This career is such a giant mess of unknown and uncertainty, and so I think for me as Zoe, I've been trying to grasp on to anything that I can have a facade of the idea of control, whereas the last 2 years in the pandemic and all the atrocities that we've experienced as society and the world has just reminded me that there is nothing that we can control except our actions and how we treat people.
This just reminded me just of the things we learn through the Wheel of Time and our interactions with fellow fans and friends we meet along the way. A good friend of mine now, someone I've met through talking about the Wheel of Time, Jenny, and I wanted to share this with you. She called up and just expressed how much appreciation that she had that her favorite character in The Wheel of Time looked like her. And so I had to share that with you, that she found that so motivating and so appreciative. And so just know you have big fans out there in you and in Nynaeve, and I know they can't wait to see you here in The Wheel of Time. So.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. I feel the same way. I'm happy to be a part of this, and I know The Wheel of Time and Nynaeve and a lot of characters mean the world to many people. A lot of you have grown up with this world, and it's been people's escape and motivations for their lives, and I'm just really grateful to be a part of that.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you here. I kind of want to end us off in our chat here. Just want to ask you, can you describe where your character is at in 3 words at the end of season 1?
Confused. Angry.
Okay.
That's such a cop-out. Angry. And curious.
Okay, no, I love it.
There's a lot going on for a lot of people at the end of the season. It's epic. I'm very excited for people to see it.
Thank you so much, Zoe, for joining us inside The Wheel of Time. Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Matt. Nice to talk to you again.
You too.
Bye.
Now here's a look at what's to come in episode 5 of The Wheel of Time. Will any more Aes Sedai be killed? Is the Dark One's corruption consuming Matt, and will Tom survive the Fade? Has Perrin been taken in by the Way of the Leaf? And with Logain gentled, is Nynaeve the Dragon Reborn? Find out this Friday when the next The Wheel of Time episode drops. Don't forget to hashtag your reactions throughout the season, and we'll do our best to feature your comments in next week's episode. And here is what you all had to say. Dahlia has tweeted, "I am just done with The Wheel of Time 4th episode, and that was incredible. I am really impressed, Alvaro Morte. You nailed it. I never doubted you'd give a great performance, but to actually see it and be blown away by your talent was something else. I loved his performance too, and I can't wait to see what Alvaro brings next to a gentled Logain." Inkstained Cloud tweeted, "Absolutely obsessed with the battle and action scene choreography of The Wheel of Time. Yeah, watching the Green Aja in battle, especially Priyanka as Alana, was a spectacle. I cannot wait for more." Aced Band tweeted, "Anyone else get chills when Leandrin said, 'Let the hand of the tower fall on you, Logain Ablar'? Though it did give me chills, I can't wait to see what the Amerlin has to say." Kimmy Widdens tweeted, "Oh god, episode 4 got me holding back the tears. Nynaeve having her moment just completely overwhelmed me. Zoe Robbins is playing her incredibly well. Just awesome when characters are brought to life so well. Won't forget this episode for a long time." I couldn't agree more. Zoe Robbins is making the world fall in love with Nynaeve. That's it, my friends. Remember, we want to hear from you every week. So hashtag your comments so we can share them on the show. And be back here next Tuesday for more interviews and behind-the-scenes looks with the cast and crew. I'm your host and innkeeper, Matt Hatch. Thank you for joining us inside The Wheel of Time.
Whoa, oh my god! I see the
See you later. We have to try everything right.
Hello. This and later.
I don't care about the show. I just want a good blooper reel.
I want to learn science.
You guys are going to make me look like I'm in the show, right? You're going to put in the effects. Replace the green. I don't want to look like an asshole here.
Sorry.